to our event website later, probably tomorrow morning. So if you miss anything, you can always go back to the recording. And we'll shut down the recording before we get to the Q&A. So that remains, an opportunity where you can talk with us more confidentially. But for today's fall scheduling workshop, we're going to cover the registration calendar, so you know all the possible times that you can register for classes for fall quarter. We'll quickly go over degree worksheets, how to plan a balanced schedule, some schedule builder tips, how to avoid some common registration errors, and then we also have a few highlights of some cool classes within our majors, and then of course our Q&A. But Portia, if you want to go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, of course. So first question is, when can I register for fall courses? And this can be found in your OASIS under important dates. The past one appointments will go from May 15th to May 26th. And for your past one, you can only register up to 17 units. And after your past one appointment, you have a 4-hour window to register for classes. After that, you have past one open hours, which is another opportunity for you to register for classes outside of your past time. And these are typically on weekdays, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. and weekends, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. After that, we have past one open registration. So this is even more opportunity for you to make schedule adjustments and take a look at other classes that may be interesting to you. So this is May 27th to June 9th. Moving on to past two. Your past two appointments will be from August 21st to September 1st. And here you can register up to 19 units. And similar to past one, we have open hours. So again, weekdays, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. and weekends, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. As well as past one, we have the past two open registration, which is September 2nd to September 14th. And you can register on weekdays from 6 a.m. to midnight. So that's your daytime. And weekends, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also the full day, basically. And even after your past two, you have opportunities to make schedule adjustments, and this begins on September 20th. And here you can register up to 28 units. All right, so I'm going to start sharing my screen for OASIS. And here you can have your degree worksheet open and your academic plan for this workshop. And I'll go over how to find those as well. All right, so first step is to update your degree worksheet. And your degree worksheet is a tool for you to see your major requirements and track your progress towards that major. It also shows you your major GPA for the classes that you have taken already. But keep in mind that this degree worksheet only focuses on your major requirements, not the college nor university requirements. So how you would find those degree worksheets is you would go to your OASIS, go to degree worksheets, and then select the new worksheet that is related to your major. So I'll go to OASIS, and this is how it looks like on your homepage. Like I said before, your important dates are on the right-hand side. And so you go to your degree worksheets, and right now we have cognitive science, but of course you can always search by the college or the major. So for example, if you're looking for psychology, you can type in psychology, and it pops up all the psychology worksheets along with what degree type you're using. So for example, if you're doing a Psych AB, you can click on that, and this is what it looks like. So how the degree worksheet is organized is that it separates your requirements based on your lower divisions first. So your preparatory subject matter. It tells you what classes you need to take. And of course, the or means you can take either of these classes, not all of them. And these slots are for you to put in classes that you plan to take or have taken already. So you have classes that you've already taken. You can navigate to current courses and select the courses that you've taken for this specific group area. So if you've taken Psychology 1, it might not be on this list, but you can also type it as well. So Psych 1, and then it will tell you how many units you have for that class. Projected means that you plan to take it. If you have taken it, it would just list your grade. And then you can also select what quarter you have taken the class or plan to take the class. And moving on, you'll have your upper division units, and this varies by major. But for this specific case, psychology AB is divided by your core groups. So these are areas of subfields of that major. And the slots that are listed below provide you a space to add the classes you have taken or plan to take again. And keep in mind, there are some notes at the bottom. So if there's anything like this, it just means that courses with an asterisk do not have any upper division prerequisites. So that means you can take the class without having taken another upper division beforehand. So yeah, you can just use this tool and play around with it to see how you would like to take your major classes for this quarter, this upcoming fall quarter, or even plan farther ahead. All right. So this is just going over what I just said about navigating to degree worksheets and putting in your classes. So step 2 is to update your academic plan. So this is different from your degree worksheets. This includes all of your requirements for the college and the university. And you can also check for prerequisites using your academic plan. Let's go to that. So you would go back to your homepage. And then at the top, you can see forms and petitions. And here you might have academic plans that you've created in the past. But if you want to create a new one, you can submit a new form, click academic plan. And then this allows you to plan your schedule for this upcoming quarter or even 2 or 3 years down the line. And of course, this is not required for you to submit to anywhere. It's just for your own record of like keeping track of your degree. So some examples are, let's see. So like I said before, the academic plan is used to keep track of not only your major requirements, but also your college and university requirements. So if you want to know in depth about what requirements you need to take left, I would recommend contacting the College of Letters and Science Advising Office to help you support in that. And in general, all students must take an upper division writing requirement. So this could be UWP 101, 102, or 104. And in order to graduate, you need at least 64 upper division units, and in total, 180 units to graduate. So of those 180, 64 of them will be upper division. And something to keep in mind is that all BS degrees require 90 units of natural science and mathematics, and these can be classes. You can contact the College of Letters and Science to see what classes fit into that criteria. And AB degrees require a foreign language as well. So that's at least 1 year or 3/4 of one specific language. All right, so something you may notice in your academic plan is, I could show you a specific example. So let's say in fall quarter of next year, you want to take, let's say Psych 135. We'll see if that's being offered. It is. Okay, let's try something else. Psych 190.
192 is always offered. Try 138.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa. Yeah, so this is a great example. You might see a red triangle. If you navigate to it, it says course not offered in fall. So that's something to keep in mind, these icons. If there's red triangle pops up, it's not being offered, so you can plug it into a different quarter and see if they're being offered in that quarter. And if it is a yellow circle with an exclamation point, the course is typically not offered that quarter, but this is just an estimate. So I would recommend checking Schedule Builder when it's closer to that quarter date to see if it's being offered. And finally, to build a balanced academic plan, you will need to take 2 major courses, preferably across different group areas or core areas of your major. For example, if you're taking 2 psychology STEM classes in 1 quarter, that might not be recommended just because it typically puts a lot of stress into one subject area and you might feel a bit overwhelmed having that. So I would recommend balancing those 2 classes across different core groups. For example, 1 class that is more related to STEM and 1 class that's more related to a social science, something that can help balance that schedule. And in addition to those 2 major courses, you would need to take 1 to 2 other classes to help you fulfill either a minor, a college requirement, or even another class that just interests you. And like I said before, no more than 2 hard science or math or even writing courses per quarter, just because These tend to be heavy in workload, or they might be time consuming. So you just want to balance that schedule so you don't feel overwhelmed in a specific quarter. Let's see. Some subject areas are like we recommend a variety. So like I said earlier, not all classes from one specific core group, nor all classes from like one specific computational course. And at the bottom, we have 3 different samples of academic plans for different majors. So for Psych BS biology, something like, so your 2 psychology classes in the beginning are your major classes, and then the 2 below that can be 1 STEM class or another requirement for your major, and then 1 class for your minor. And then same for the CGS BS computational, we have Lin 1 is a preparatory subject matter, and then your 2 math classes are related to your science courses, and then your 2 psychology and philosophy are your major classes specifically. All right, and I'll pass it down to Miriam. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Okay, can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
I'm gonna go over some schedule builder basics and then also some cool classes to take in the fall for each of our different majors. Looks like my screen is still loading. Oops. You guys can't see the screen, right?
No, the presenter view, I think, is just lagging.
Yeah. Should I could, give me a second.
Yeah, maybe
I could
just,
yeah, just like this.
yeah.
Okay. So here are some like schedules for the psych classes that are being offered next year. So if you click on this link, it'll show you like which classes, all the lower div classes that are being offered fall 23 and upper div and undergraduate seminars, and then same thing for winter 2024 and then spring 2024. And then next year's schedule is going to be updated next April. And then same thing for philosophy. You can find the courses being offered fall, winter, and spring of next year. And you can always refer back to those links to in order to plan your academic plan. And then first, in terms of schedule builder, I'm just gonna go over some like things on there that would be helpful knowing while you're registering for your classes. So if you go to add or search courses, there's a lot of ways to find different courses in case you're looking for a GE to take and you don't know which one. But if you go to advanced options, you can choose like which, in case suppose you need a couple more units of upper division classes, right? So you could just go to 100 to 199 and then choose a subject area that you're interested in. Let's do animal science and then search, and it'll give you all the options that you have. So it's just like an easier way to see. You could also like filter it more by doing like only open courses, and then suppose you need like a GE requirement to fulfill, you can choose whichever one you're missing. Say you need like a domestic diversity class too. Okay, so there's no upper division animal science domestic diversity classes, but if you go to like art history, okay, let's go to let's do psychology. Psych 151 is a psychology class that's also upper div, and it fulfills the domestic diversity requirement. So that's just an easier way to like find classes and like that and like fulfill requirements. Let's see. Also, make sure you check that you've met all the course prerequisites before enrolling. So the way you can check the prerequisites for classes, let's do Make 102, for example. It'll show you right here what all the prerequisites are. So unless it specifically says or, you have to take everything that's listed there. So BIS 1A or 2A, and you have to take Chem 2B. And you can take them at the same time. You can take Chem 2B at the same time as Make 102. You just have to be in the class. And in case you have the prerequisite, but Schedule Builder shows that it doesn't, it'll give you the option to fill out a prerequisite petition. So on there, you can just like list whatever. So say you took a class at community college and it hasn't showed up on the transcript. You could just say like, I took this class at community college, like I met the prerequisite, and then the professor will just go over it closer towards the beginning of the quarter and like either approve or disapprove. Usually they'll approve it if whatever you said is true. And then kind of just semicolon means and. So for example, Psych 143, the prerequisites are either one or Psych 1 or Psych 1Y, and Y just means it's like a hybrid class, and Psych 41, and either Psych 140 or 140Y or HD 100A. Usually the or just means like they're equivalent courses, and you can take either one to fulfill that prerequisite. So for some common registration errors, prerequisites aren't met sometimes. So like I said, it's important to make sure you meet all the prerequisites for the class that you want to register for. And then Pass 1 restrictions. So some majors have like certain, like it's usually upper div classes that they restrict to people in that major, just so people who are required to take that class can easily get it for Pass 1. And then for Pass 2, they'll usually open it up to like everyone else. So just like be cognizant of that. If it's a class that you don't have access to Pass 1, just like make sure you register for a Pass 2. You might not get it, you might be on the wait list, but just like something to keep in mind. And then time conflicts. So I use the Chrome extension. I think it's called Schedule Builder or something. Like if you look it up on Chrome, like you should be able to find it. But it kind of like it makes it easier for me to see which classes I have like a conflict for. So for example, if I want to take like 118A, for example, it'll tell me like at the top that I have a time conflict. So that just makes it easier for me to plan out my schedule and see which classes I can and I can't take with like each other. I would recommend getting that Chrome extension if you don't already have it. It's been really helpful. And then registration holds. So I think seniors and sophomores have registration holds. You just need you'll get an email about it, and you just need to like do what the email tells you to. But in case you don't, sometimes you'll have a hold and you won't be able to register for classes. So transfer students can still register for Pass 1 and Pass 2 though. And then some cool classes to take in the fall. So in terms of STS classes, lower division, there's STS 12, Epidemics in Society, STS 16, Sex Science and Society, and 32, Drug Science and Culture. And then for some upper division classes, there's STS 140, which is Science and Race, and STS 162, which is Surveillance Technologies and Social Media. And if you are planning on taking STS 100, just like keep in mind that it's only offered in winter quarter. So make sure you plan ahead for that. And then for philosophy classes, for lower division, there's 513G, which is a requirement. So that's being offered in the fall. It's a requirement for cognitive science. And then 514, ethical and social problems in contemporary society. And then for upper div classes, there's 5102, which is theory of knowledge, 105, philosophy of religion, and 118, which is political philosophy. And then cog sci classes, so lower div, there's CGS1, 513G, and ECS 32C. And all of these are requirements for the computational emphasis. And then ECS 32C is only offered during fall quarters, and you have to take either 32 or 36C or ECS 34. So just keep that in mind if you're a cog sci computational emphasis major. And for upper division classes, there's 5133, which is logic, probability, and AI. And then it says also like which groups they fulfill. EDU/Lin 173, which is language development. And then some group C neuroscience classes are Psych 101, Intro to Biopsych, and Psych 135, which is cognitive neuroscience. And then also some psych classes. So these are divided up in terms of core requirements. So for core A, again, there's Psych 135, and prerequisites for that are Psych 1 and 41. So for all the upper div psych classes, you have to take Psych 41, and for most of them, you have to take Psych 1 too. So just make sure, if you are a psych major, just make sure you have 1 and 41 out of the way, just so you can take the upper div psych classes. For core B, there's Psych 101, again, which is Intro to Biopsych. Prerequisites are Psych 1 and 41. And then Psych 122, Advanced Animal Behavior. And the prerequisite for that is Psych 101, which also means like you have to take Psych 1 and 41 anyways, because those are prerequisites for 101. And then for core C, Psych 154, Psych of Emotion, and it's offered with Fox, who I've heard is a really good professor. Same prerequisites. Core D is Psych 140Y, and like I said before, Y just means it's like a hybrid format, so it's like half online, like half in person. Developmental Psych with Oaks, and then Psych 143, which is infant development, and 148, which is developmental disorders. And for both of them, you have to take either Psych 140 or 140Y. And then Psych 190, computational cognitive neuroscience, is an elective class that's also being offered in the fall that you can take. That's kind of all for cool classes to take. If you guys could fill out the survey, let me put it in chat. Oh, okay, let's just put it in chat. Just like about the fall scheduling workshop, that would be great.
At this time, I'll go ahead and stop the recording, and that way we can focus on your questions.